But I do think this is one of the most pragmatic, but also philosophical issues that looms over America at large in advance of this election in a way that we've never seen before. And that is this issue of immigration. I went to Springfield last week. We live streamed it. I hope many of you had a chance to see it. Such an interesting experience. I mean, Springfield is important to me just because actually, people say, oh, MSNBC actually had a little bit the night before. They said, Vivek Ramaswamy is descending on Springfield, like I'm some sort of somebody flying in for this opportunity to latch on to something that's happening in a town that I don't know the first thing about, but just using it to push some agenda or self-promote or whatever it is. I mean, that was the veneer they were trying to cast. Actually, the truth of the matter is Springfield's near and dear to my own heart. I live less than an hour away. I'm talking to you about a 50-minute drive from Springfield, a place where I spent like a lot of time, not a little bit of time, but a lot of time growing up. I had a lot of family there. I still have family there. And I grew up about an hour away from there as well. So it's an important part of my youth. Probably one of the best sub shops in the state of Ohio, if not in the country, is a place called Mike and Rosie's. I've probably eaten there more times in my youth than most people who grew up in Springfield. So it was important to me to just go there because, on the other hand, I've run for U.S. president. I'm talking about these issues publicly. They've shown up in my own backyard in a community that's next to me. What kind of leader would I be if I didn't show up there? That's why I said, you know what, it was important to me. I just posted, I was having dinner here in Columbus, took out my phone. We were talking about Springfield with actually one of my cousins who was in Columbus, my wife. We were having dinner. I said, you know what, I should go to Springfield. I just took out, posted on X. I'm going to Springfield on Thursday. Didn't have a plan. I don't have a campaign apparatus or anything behind me right now. Just say we're going to show up. Details of event to follow. It's going to be a casual get together. Turns out that, and a guy, by the way, then responded, volunteers. He has an event center. He talks to my team. He says, hey, we can do it at my event center. I say, great. I know the part of town that it's in. It only holds several hundred people, but I said, okay, I think that'll be okay. We might even have 50 people come have a good open conversation in an intimate event. It holds 250, 275 people. Turns out that's filled. Has an extra room nearby, tries to put up a TV last minute, has an overflow room, another 100 people. We're up to fire code and then beyond. And then you go outside, there are hundreds of people lined up in this community. It's not a big town. Springfield, even post the mass influx of the Haitian migrants, of about 12 to 20,000 extra Haitian migrants that have been in that town now more recently. You're talking about a town of 60 to 70,000 people. You had about 2,000 people RSVP to that event in Springfield. What does that tell you? First is it says that everyday Americans are hungering to be heard, actually. People just want to be heard. People want to feel heard. One of the things I learned from my trip to Springfield is there a lot that people are struggling with in that community? Yes. Are they driving housing costs up through demand? Yes. Are there some issues, even in questions and concerns relating to zoning, where you have multiple families living in a home that was designed per at least local zoning ordinances, like it or not, for a single family? Yes, there's all kinds of issues. Is that driving up housing costs? Is it putting a strain on social services and supply? Yes. But one of my main takeaways from that trip to Springfield isn't that people are up in arms about the fact that my housing prices are going up or local primary care services are strained. It's that my housing costs are going up and local primary care services are strained, and nobody seems to actually care about it. And it's that last part that stuck with me.